Patrick Bamford scored one last weekend, had one disallowed. He's very unlucky, but I think he'll be a fantastic player again this weekend for Leeds. Hello and welcome back to the international preview on my channel. It's not the international preview this week, it is the Premier League preview. Why am I saying that? I don't know. Hello and welcome back to the Premier League preview, and my battery is about to die. I will be back. Third time lucky. Hello and welcome back to the international preview. My name is Sam Redgate-Large and you are joining me here today on my channel. If you are new around here and you like what you see, be sure to smash that like button and of course subscribe to me with the notifications bell on. It's been a while since we've talked about the Premier League. We have had the international break that's seen England win one of their matches and lose one against Belgium. I'm recording this on Tuesday, so I do not know the outcome of the England versus Iceland game, but we will find out. I will find out whenever the game is. I can't even remember now, but that is not the point of this video. This week we are looking at week 9 of the Premier League. As a lot has happened, we will make sure we have a quick recap of what happened in week 8 to make sure that we are all up to speed with our Premier League knowledge. So the weekend started off in week 8 with Brighton drawing with Burnley. That was then followed by Everton and Manchester United, who played, and Man United won 3-1. And just before that was Southampton versus Newcastle, who won 2-0 as my prediction for the weekend of Che Adams scored a goal and was influential in that match. Chelsea and Crystal Palace then both won by 4-1. And West Ham, Leicester and Spurs all won 1-0 as the goals seemed to dry up last weekend. In the big game of the weekend before the injuries hit, Liverpool drew 1-1 with Manchester City, and the weekend was rounded off with a shock result as Aston Villa, who are high flying, doing really well at the moment, beat Arsenal by 3-0. A few shock results there and a few expected results as Chelsea continue their winning ways. Crystal Palace beating Leeds, didn't see that one coming, but a great weekend of football nonetheless. Looking forward to this weekend. Chelsea kick off proceedings this weekend as they take a visit to Newcastle at 12:30 on Saturday. High flying Villa.
High flying Villa. High flying Villa.
Maybe not do such a dramatic entrance. High flying Villa then take on Brighton, with high scoring Tottenham Hotspur taking on Manchester City, and Manchester United then cap off the weekend with their game against West Brom. The action then resumes on Sunday with Fulham, who take on Everton, who are winless in 3 games. Bottom of the table, Sheffield United then take on West Ham, Leeds United then take on Arsenal, and Liverpool's 3 fit players then take on Leicester City. And Monday is rounded off with 2 games as always. Burnley play on Monday, who are looking to get their first win of the season, and Wolves take on Southampton to round off the weekend. We will move straight into the teams to watch section this week. It's a little bit harder this week because of the international break. It's kind of disrupted the flow of play. I can't quite remember which teams were playing well. I've just got to really go off their performances and the results rather than who was actually playing well. But the first team I've chosen this week, I've mentioned them already in this video and I've mentioned their injuries, Liverpool. Liverpool have very few fit players this weekend. They've somehow managed to get Trent, Robertson, Van Dijk, Gomez, Henderson, Thiago. Salah can't play either. That's at least 7. That is a substantial amount of players from their first team that won't be playing this weekend due to whatever reason, and that is no doubt going to have an effect on the way that Liverpool play. Liverpool take on Leicester this week, and Leicester are top of the league, and that shows how good they've been this season. They have been fantastic, but it's going to be a massive struggle for Liverpool this weekend. Leicester have looked rampant against sides that have been full strength. Manchester City couldn't stand them. Leicester beat Man City 5-2, and Liverpool, I just feel sorry for them. I think we could see a gutsy performance from Liverpool this weekend, and I think they will be looking to minimalise the damage which Leicester will put on them this weekend, and they'll look to get a point. Of course, every good team looks to win the game, but I think Jurgen Klopp will be very pleased if Liverpool walk away with a point this weekend at high-flying Leicester, who have been so fantastic so far this season. I do not know how long that was out of focus for, so I'm hoping it wasn't too long. I'm hoping it was just when I came to the camera or when I moved about it went out of focus. So apologies if that was out of focus, and if it was in focus, then you won't see this anyway, so it doesn't really matter. The team I've chosen to watch this week, the second one, is Southampton. Southampton are unbeaten in 3 games, even though there was a bit of a wobble against Aston Villa in the final 10 minutes. Southampton have looked really dominant so far this season and are sitting 4th in the league. They've been doing absolutely fantastically so far this season. And bear in mind, this is a Southampton team that lost to Leicester 9-0 last season. So it has been a fantastic turnaround for Southampton, and they've been in really good form. Of course, they're still without Danny Ings, who has suffered an injury a couple of weeks back in the game against Villa. But Che Adams, like I said last week, has done more than enough to maintain that spot and to show that he is a Premier League striker and not just a good Championship striker. So it'll be interesting to see this weekend against a side as good as Wolves if Southampton can keep their fine vein of form going. Did they lose 1-0 last week? Wolves come into this game off the back of a 1-0 loss against Leicester, which is a respectable result, but they will be looking to bounce back, and Southampton have been a little bit shaky, like I said, against that Aston Villa side, but I really think Southampton should be able to put their foot down in this game, make a mark, and hopefully continue their run up the table. It'd be interesting to see come the end of the season if Southampton are still doing well to see if they can put a real challenge in for the Champions League or Europa League spots. The final team I've chosen to watch this week isn't actually a team. We are going for a game to watch, and that game is Leeds and Arsenal. Both sides come into this off the back of heavy defeats. Leeds lost 4-1 to Crystal Palace, and Arsenal lost 3-0 to Aston Villa. There must be something about teams in red not playing well against Aston Villa this season.
What a joker.
In my notes, I've coined this the battle of the flops. I don't think either team has really flopped this season, but last weekend they really did not show themselves at their best and at their maximum capacity. That's why I guess I've gone for it. Both teams will be looking to bounce back this weekend and score lots of goals, but Arsenal seem to not be able to score goals. They seem to be a little bit dry up front, seem to be doing their best impression of a brick up front, and it's not the best way to play football, that's all I can say. But at the end of the day, Leeds have always had goals in them, and every game that involves Leeds has goals in it. So I would not be surprised if we see another big goal fest in this game. It's just the way Leeds play, they're very attacking, but that also creates a lot of space in behind for teams to attack. So it'll be interesting to see this week if Southampton, Liverpool and the Leeds versus Arsenal game, how they pan out, because I think that's 4 teams there that are really need to prove themselves this week. For Liverpool, it's in the case of their second team players, they need to prove themselves. Southampton, they need to keep pushing, and Leeds and Arsenal need to really bounce back after disappointing results last weekend. Moving on to the players to watch this week, I genuinely cannot think of who is actually fit at the moment. Like, there is that many injuries in every team at the minute. It seems to be going straight through the team. If you'd like to find out more about that, be sure to smash the like button and I will create a video about why everyone seems to be dropping like flies and what impact the coronavirus has had on footballing careers and their routines in the season. So if you do like this video and want to hear more and stuff like that, be sure to smash that like button and hit subscribe. Right, I am back. I've decided on who I'm going to choose for players to watch this week. I think it's a combination of the international break getting in the way, it being a couple of, a week and a bit since the last round of football, and a combination of injuries, which has really meant that I genuinely could not think off the top of my head who should be the players to watch this week. So it probably won't be quite as accurate as it usually is. I normally get probably 2 of my predictions are usually correct or bob on. So yeah, we'll just jump into it. The first player I've chosen this week is Bruno Fernandes. Provided, this stands for all of the players, provided none of them get injured towards the end of the week and the international break, Bruno Fernandes I think will be vital to Manchester United. Anthony Martial should be back this week. I believe I think he's back. He was suspended against Spurs for that, I think it was a push or a grab to the neck, I don't know. It was something that it didn't really deserve a red card. But anyway, side note. Bruno Fernandes is one of those players who really makes Manchester United tick, and I think it will be important for Manchester United, especially with the amount of injuries that are going on right now, that they have someone as good as Bruno Fernandes in their team and scoring goals. United only play West Brom this weekend, so not the biggest challenge they'll ever face, but West Brom have proven to be quite difficult opponents at times. They went 1-0 up against Everton, they drew 3-3 with Chelsea, so they do have a lot of quality about them, and I think Bruno Fernandes could really link up the play in that game, and especially if Rashford's out, that moves some of the pressure back onto Bruno Fernandes and the attacking outlets to try and get them scoring more, because Rashford very much is the centrepiece of this team at the moment, and hopefully Martial can come back and do a good job for Manchester United, but the player I've chosen this week is Bruno Fernandes. The second player I have chosen this week, I spent all of last week reporting on for university, Patrick Bamford, who was allegedly supposed to be in line for an England call-up, and how has that worked out for you, Patrick? Anyway, Patrick Bamford scored a hat-trick a couple of weeks ago, and everyone was shocked. I was shocked. I'll find a clip of me saying how shocked I was, and I'll pop it in here. The man, the myth, the legend, and the greatest player of all time, Patrick Bamford scored a hat-trick in the Premier League. I never thought those words would be coming out of my mouth. Patrick Bamford really makes this Leeds team work, and he had one disallowed, probably unjustly because of VAR. Again, another decision that has gone wrong, and probably a video coming for you guys. So if you do, like I said earlier, want to hear more and see more of me and these types of videos, be sure to smash that like button and hit subscribe. Anyway, Patrick Bamford scored one last weekend, had one disallowed. He's very unlucky, but I think he'll be a fantastic player again this weekend for Leeds. I think he'll really cause Arsenal's defence some problems, and especially the likes of Gabriel, who are inexperienced at this level, he could really cause him some problems, despite him not being the greatest striker in the Premier League. So that's why I've chosen Bamford. Again, it depends on injuries. I'm really struggling this week because of the injuries to pick players, and the break in play doesn't help, because now they're not reporting on players coming back, they're just reporting on players getting injured. So it's a bit up in the air, but I know Bamford wasn't injured when he started, so hopefully, fingers crossed, that he plays this weekend. The final player I have chosen is one of Liverpool's actually fit players, I do believe. Like I said, this may be completely drastically wrong, but I believe Joel Matip is actually fit for this game this weekend, which has come, luckily for Liverpool, just in time. Liverpool will probably play a completely different defence. I'd imagine Milner will be in defence. That's if they've got enough midfielders. I'd imagine Milner will be in defence with the Greek left back whose name I cannot pronounce, and then Joel Matip will be the leader of that defence. Joel Matip is a good player. Very good player on his day, reliable, very trustworthy and good on the ball as well. A bit of a no-nonsense centre-half, doesn't fanny about with the ball like Joe Gomez does, but I think Matip will be an important player this weekend. If Liverpool are going to get a point from Leicester, who are the league leaders, Joel Matip needs to be at his best, and if Joel Matip's not playing, the Liverpool defenders need to be at their best. I can't imagine Liverpool not playing without Fabinho, Van Dijk, Joe Gomez or Joel Matip. So this could be a big weekend for Liverpool. For Liverpool fans, I'm sure they're hoping that Matip is completely fit. I know he was coming back from an injury. So it'll be interesting to see how Liverpool line up. Liverpool's defence is almost completely wiped out. So that's why I've gone with Joel Matip, because I think he will be the centre point of Liverpool's defence and he'll be the leader at the back for them and maybe even in the team for them. So I think he's one to watch this weekend. I maybe won't put him in my fantasy team because I could see Liverpool getting absolutely hammered this weekend. But if things go well for Joel Matip and things go well for Liverpool, then we could see a good performance. And if Matip plays well, we could see a point taken away from Leicester or all 3 points. Anyway, that concludes this week's Premier League preview. If you have enjoyed, as I've mentioned multiple times in this video, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe down below. If there is anything else, make sure to leave it in the comments. If you've got any questions, leave them in the comments. If you've got any comments, of course, leave them in the comments. I've been Redgate-Large. Thank you for watching.